Good morning. Today I wanted to get together some breakfast foods for the freezer for the kids. They've been asking for some breakfast sandwiches and some breakfast burritos. So we'll get those started, get them into the freezer, and then I'll kind of see where my energy is at and if I'm able to make anything else. But I definitely want to get those two things done, and I was thinking maybe getting some quick taquitos made up as well since I have the smaller tortillas. But we'll kind of see how we feel after doing the breakfast sandwiches and the breakfast burritos. So I've already got everything out and laid out. My kitchen is clean. I'm starting with an empty dishwasher and an empty trash can, and I have some of my stuff already out, so let's start. So as I said, I have my pans ready to go. The oven is preheated to 400. I'm going to take the bacon out and get that cooking while we dice up some peppers. I think the key to success in any big cooking day, whether you're doing breakfast, dinner, snacks, is to have everything cleared around you. Make sure that your countertops are cleared off and that you have everything as ready as possible. Try to prepare things the day before if you can. Get your pans ready. Get all of the equipment that you're going to need out. It just makes everything a little bit faster. It's also a great way to use up things that are in the freezer. I've pulled out some sausage that I had in there for a while and some peppers that I want to chop up and use. I feel like every day I'm in such a rush to get everything done that I don't always take the time to just enjoy what I'm actually doing at that time. So on this day, I just wanted to take a couple of hours to really just enjoy being in the kitchen and preparing the stuff for my family and getting it all into the freezer for the busy days ahead with all of the holidays coming and everything else that goes along with that. For the breakfast burritos, I am just going to use a frozen bag of hash browns, cook them up in the oven a little bit, and then add those with some extra peppers and onions. I've actually never cooked these before, so hopefully they come out okay. I'm going to add a little bit of oil to them. I actually did not end up adding enough oil on the first time, so when they were about halfway done cooking, I did add a little bit more oil and some more seasoning to them. I just wanted to say, if you're new to my channel, I welcome you, and if you're coming back, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. My name is Jen. I am a wife and a mother of 3. We still have 2 boys living at home. Their ages are 15 and 12. And we're really just trying to slow down a little bit and start to enjoy our home more. We've been doing a lot of projects around the home since decluttering. This weekend we're actually working on getting the entryway put back together. I know I've talked about it in previous videos, but finally having the upstairs of the house completed for the most part, everything mostly decluttered. We just switched our bedrooms, which I will show you the new rug that we got for the bedroom in just a little while. But really just trying to enjoy the home, enjoy what we have, be thankful for everything that we do have, even though sometimes it's kind of hard. Sometimes I think we want more, or we think everyone else has more than we do. So I really just want to take the time to appreciate what I do have and enjoy my family. Of course, if you have shredded cheese already in your refrigerator, that would save you the step, but I just tend to like to shred it myself. I actually wanted to get it done yesterday, but I just didn't have time, so it really won't take long. If you have a food processor and you're doing a lot of cheese at once, it might be helpful to pull it out, But since I was only doing a couple of blocks, it just made sense to use my cheese grater and not have to worry about cleaning the full food processor. But in times where I'm doing a lot of it for the week to try to food prep a little bit, it is easier to use the food processor. You can also shred it and throw it into the freezer and pull it out if you're going to be baking it. The texture is a little different, but it still turns out okay. I shredded up this one a couple of days ago, so I'm just going to add the cheese in here so we don't spill any of it. And of course, you could always separate it if you don't want them together, but I don't mind that they're together. Pretty much anything that we could put one of these in, we could put them both in. So I am okay with just putting it all together. I'm surprised my dog isn't over here trying to steal the cheese. He's usually all over this. And then we've got some peppers that I threw in the freezer, it looks like over the summer. And I just freeze these little ones whole, so I'm just gonna chop them up. They're still a little frozen. I think it'll make it easier to get them all chopped up then. I love having chopped up peppers and onions in the freezer. It just makes for really easy meals during the week. So I only chopped up about this much of those peppers, and I was able to find some green peppers that I had in the freezer. And I have some onions that I chopped up a while ago. I'm going to cook these up as well, and just a little bit of bacon grease that I have in my refrigerator. I always like to keep this, and this jar is getting low, so at least now I'll be able to replenish it with the bacon that is already in the oven. So we're going to turn this on. Let that melt down a little bit, and then we'll get all of this in. It's a little freezer burn, but that is totally okay. We'll just have to cook it down a little bit more. I'm going to open up these bags. On the other side, I'm going to cook up some of the sausages. When I'm doing breakfast meals for the kids for the freezer, I typically do the sandwiches like we're doing today or the burritos, but I also like to do pancakes and French toast. I would love to hear if you have any ideas for different things that we might be able to do that they could really easily pull out before school. I've tried to do baked oatmeal, but the recipe that I used, the kids just really did not enjoy it. So if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. So I am just going to break up all of the frozen vegetables, and because they were frozen, they do need a little bit more time to cook to really cook off some of that extra water, as we don't really want to put that into the burritos to make them soggy. And you also want to season every portion of the food that you're putting into anything. So for this, every component that we're going to add to the burrito, I want to make sure that it's seasoned separately. Okay, the bacon got a little crispy, but that is how I like it. Maybe a little bit more than I typically do, but that's okay. I would rather have it crispy than not. So So we're just gonna set this out to drain a little bit. Try to keep them whole if possible. Every time I make bacon, I take a few seconds to drain it into the jar because it really does add a lot of flavor when you're cooking, and you don't always have to get out butter or oil if you can just use the bacon grease. And I also am putting it into a smaller container just to use for this day. That way it doesn't even solidify, and I can just use it to continue making some of the eggs and the other things that we have to make. Okay, these ones are done, the sausages. They're a little brown on both sides. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take them off and drain them onto a paper towel. I've been letting the peppers and onions cook down quite a lot because there was so much liquid in them because a lot of them were frozen. So I'm just letting them go on like a medium-low heat. Our bacon is all done and out of the oven. And I did end up having to put a little bit more oil. I ended up using some bacon fat on the potatoes because they were sticking a little bit. And I added some more salt and pepper and some more onion and garlic powder, just for a little bit more flavor on them. Those are almost done. As you can see, all of the liquid is now out of these. So I'm going to take these off the heat because we need everything to be room temperature when we're putting it away and assembling everything. So we can take those off the heat for a few minutes and then I'll let them cool and then I'll put those into a bowl. Got our sausage here and our bacon. Now we're going to get the English muffins ready. I just wiped down those pans. I didn't clean them. I just wiped any of the excess grease off so we can use them in the oven for the English muffins. All right, so we're going to get a stick of butter melted. This is not necessary. You really don't have to do this, but I love the flavor that it gives the sandwiches. They just don't feel as flat. They have a little bit of crispiness and a little bit of extra flavor. But if you don't want to take the time to do this, it is totally okay not to. All right, so I'll be back once I have all of my English muffins laid out. Okay, so now I'm just going to put the butter on here. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's really just for the flavor and to help kind of brown everything up a little bit. I actually got these buttermilk English muffins once on accident. I did a Walmart delivery and they sent me these on accident. I had just asked for the regulars and they are so good. They just seem a lot softer and fluffier than the regular ones, even though I still buy the regular ones sometimes. I did one tray of the regular and one tray of the buttermilk and they are so, so good. If you haven't tried them, I would definitely recommend giving them a try. I really need to get it together and do like a big dinner freezer prep too, especially with the holidays coming. And I'm just trying to get the basement cleaned out. I'm going to have a lot of baking that we're doing for Christmas. So I really need to get some dinners put into the freezer. I just used up the last of my freezer dinners last night. Was a tray of stuffed shells and they are just so convenient to be able to pull it out of the freezer My son had his last football game yesterday, so I'm kind of happy that that's done for a little while. It is a lot going to practices every day, picking him up, all the driving that you're doing, driving distances for games. It is just a lot, so I am kind of happy to have a little break, honestly, for a couple months until he starts up with whatever he's going to do next. Especially with the colder weather. I don't want to be driving around every night, waiting in the cold. It was freezing for his game yesterday. It was so cold. The wind chill said it felt like it was 36 degrees. And you know, everyone's sitting out there like bundled up in coats. It's just not something that I really enjoy doing. All right, this is good. And that was a whole stick of butter for 14 English muffins. To brown up, not long at all. You could do it on broil if you wanted to, but I have it already set to 400, so I'll just do this. It'll give me a little time anyways to do some other things. And then here's what the potatoes look like out of the oven. Okay, I'm hoping my pan is nice and hot. I did spray it with a little bit of nonstick spray. Yep, should be good. I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease on there, a little bit of butter. They do have little egg rounds that you can use if you want the perfect shape. I actually used to have some, but I decluttered them. And it doesn't really bother me if they're not a perfect shape. I just fit them onto the sandwich however they fit. It's not a big deal. Everyone still really enjoys them. And you can cook your eggs however you'd like. I typically tend to let them cook for a little while, and then I do pop the yolk. But however you like to eat your eggs is totally up to you. I put a little bit of salt and pepper on. The first couple always seem to not cook as great. Maybe it's just the pan not being super hot, but it's okay. We're just going to cook up all the eggs that we need here for our sandwiches, and then we'll put those to the side, and the English muffins are out of the oven. So then we'll be ready to assemble these, and those will be done. And then we'll make up the scrambled eggs for the breakfast burritos. So the next big project that I'm working on right now is the basement. And if you've seen my channel before, you've probably seen several videos already down there, and there is just so much down there. Years and years and years of things that are down there that I don't always have a plan for. Plus the other thing is that I do have a plan. We're going to redo that bedroom, but we have to wait until spring, and that is going to be our storage room. So I want to have it set up and organized. So some of the things I just have to wait until we're able to get that space organized before I'm able to do anything with it. But we are planning to paint the floor, so now I'm going to start working section at a time and kind of pulling everything out and away, and working on just at least getting the floor painted so I can put a rug down and have the room look a little nicer in general when we go down there. So that is the next project that we're going to be working on. And here is a quick video of what the rug in our room looks like. I absolutely love it. It is so nice to have a beautiful rug in here in our bedroom for the first time ever. The rug that we used to have in our old room was actually just a leftover rug from our old son's room that we just took over. But this one I actually picked out. It's from Boutique Rugs and I absolutely love it. So now we're gonna whip up some scrambled eggs for the breakfast burritos. I'm guessing I'm gonna probably need, I don't know, 10. If I do 12, maybe about a dozen eggs or so. Way I can get everything kind of picked up a little bit so we can start assembling. In order to start assembling, I just need a clean space to work in. So I might as well just let these cook and then cool, and then we can clean up and get everything put together. Again, we're going to use some of this baking grease. I'm just using the same pan that I used for the veggies since they're all going into the same place. Let that melt a little bit. All right, these are soft set. Perfect. I'm going to let those cool a little bit as I clean up now. So here's what we've got going on. We've got the onions and peppers, the eggs, the bacon, the potatoes, sausage, English muffins, and I've started to clean up a little bit. But I need to clean off this countertop here so we can start assembling. Okay, so let's get this all put together. I just like to throw the egg on. You, of course, don't have to break the cheese in half. I just find that it melts less outside of the sandwich in the microwave when I do that. There's just more of it kept on the sandwich that way. The sausage is a little small for these, but that's okay. The kids will still like it. Okay, I may have taken a little break to have one as my lunch. So now we are doing 13 egg sandwiches. And they were delicious. Okay, you've got to let me know, have you already started watching Christmas movies? I usually wait until after Thanksgiving before I allow myself to start watching the Christmas movies, but I have already watched 3. So I saw a couple on Netflix that I ended up watching, and I think another one maybe on Hulu or Prime. I don't remember which one it was, but I am already in the Christmas mood, so I've really been enjoying watching some of those movies. So when I'm doing any kind of big cooking day, I really take the time in between to clean off the surfaces, wipe things down as I go, put things into the sink or the dishwasher, because I find that once every surface gets filled and there's just too much going on, that it actually slows me down. I just feel a little bit overwhelmed at that point. So just taking those few minutes here and there to clean up your areas will help you so much in the kitchen. Okay, so I've got all my sandwiches here. I'm going to use up some of these bags, especially for the ones for this week, because I know that the kids will go through these pretty quickly. So I'll put 4 into the fridge and the rest will go into the freezer. Okay, now I'm just going to take everything that I made here, add it to a big bowl, This is a lot more filling than I thought I was going to have, so I'll probably be able to get quite a few burritos out of all of this. And they will be delicious and really nice for the kids to have before they go to school. My husband and I can also take them in the morning for work. Get this off the tray. Again, just trying to clean up as I go. It always makes things a little bit easier. And then we're gonna add in our peppers. You know what? I'm not gonna add them all right this second. I really wanna see how it comes together. Oh, maybe we'll end up adding them all. I was thinking about making some sort of a breakfast bake as well, but I might just do all the burritos. I'm just gonna add all of it. Mine as well, right? Now every component has some seasoning on it. I think that's really important when you're making something like this. And then we're going to add in some bacon. And again, you cook your bacon however you like it. I love it like this. This is how we like to eat it. You don't have to cook yours quite as much as this, but this is going to be so good. I'm going to add about a half a cup or so. Let's see how that goes. Add some cheese in. We're going to try to fold these up here. Some of the smaller ones I might have to do a little less. I'll be honest, although I did end up getting the hang of it mostly. My husband is really the one that ends up usually rolling up our burritos. I've just never been really good at rolling them up for whatever reason, so usually on taco nights and things like that, I will prepare everything and he will be the one to roll everyone's burrito up. So I did end up figuring it out, but I'm not the best at it. For the first time, I think ever, I actually took down all of the fall decorations last week. I really just wanted to have a break in between putting up all of the Christmas decorations where I could just have a clean house. It would be easy to maintain, and it's been really nice. I always used to take them down the weekend after Thanksgiving and also get out all of my Christmas stuff, which I still have a lot of Christmas decorations, and this year I'll probably end up getting rid of some more. But it's been so nice just having the house cleared off for a little while before all of the Christmas chaos starts.
I think I got about 16, maybe 19 or so. So let's see the best way to wrap them up here.
The kids have really been enjoying these for sure. They're a huge hit. They turned out delicious. So if you have a couple of hours and you want to just put a few quick and easy things into the freezer that your whole family will like, as long as you like all of these ingredients, I think it's a really great idea, and it's going to save you some time in the mornings.
Alright, so these 4 will go into the fridge, and then we'll get some into the freezer.
Another thing too is if you end up using freezer bags like this for these types of things, you can always reuse them. So especially something like this where the items are pre-wrapped, you can definitely just keep reusing the bags. Don't just throw them away. You can reuse them over and over again until they stop sealing.
Also, the last time I froze garlic, I just chopped it all up and I froze it in little blobs basically until they froze, and then I threw them into a bag. But this time I used my silicone molds here. I want to see if they're any better. And I think they kind of come out pretty good here. I've never used these molds before, but I do love how they came out. So now I'm just going to pop them all out.
So these come out very easy, but my hands were freezing and I also did not want to smell like garlic for the next week. So I ended up putting on a pair of gloves and taking them out that way. I kind of hoped that they were going to pop out, but they did not do that. But I definitely love how they turned out.
I was able to get the kitchen cleaned up before the kids even got home from school. We've got all of our sandwiches done, dishwasher's running. So I'll be able to refill it up again before dinner.